Circle message. Hey y'all, welcome to the Circle Chat. I am so excited to have you here. Welcome, hashtag Circle Fam. I am Lana. I'm excited to meet all of you. I am the resident diva, giving you the tea, giving you all the tea because I love the tea. So if you have tea, give it to me because I love it. And heart emoji, send.
Circle, send message. Oh my God, I'm so excited to be here. I'm Logan, just a gay, here with my bubbly, sparkling water. And I'm just so excited to be here. I've been like 500 miles away from somewhere in New England where Esme lives. So oh my God, I feel like we just have such a connection already. Rainbow heart emoji, dancing flamenco emoji, dog emoji, hamburger emoji, send.
Circle message. Hey, Pussy Pop Queen Slay. I know I'm new. This is my first full day in the circle, but I hope you're enjoying my presence. I am Esme. Yet again, I think I already said my name, but who cares? I am a trans Black slay Pussy Pop Queen myself. And I am drinking some cranberry soda and with a full bladder, so it's not great.
Not that.
Cherry emoji, water squirt emoji, emoji, rainbow flag, send.
Period.
Yes. Oh.
And see, that's why everyone on the circle would get so annoyed with me.
I would just send the randomest emojis.
Right. Just a whole bunch of emojis and 20 hashtags each one. Hashtag peace and love. Hashtag you're great. Hashtag we are family. Period.
Hashtag circle fam. Hashtag inner circle. Hashtag the
trust
circle. Hashtag trust circle. Hashtag the circle Netflix. Hashtag all of.
They'd be like, oh my God, I hate.
I would message be like, oh my God, you're so right, Logan. Paperclip emoji, paperclip emoji, paperclip emoji. Send.
Oh my God.
It's the weirdest emoji.
Right. You're so amazing. Check mark, and send.
You know who you reminded me of? Bart Simpson. Flower emoji, eggplant emoji, dog emoji, emoji.
Like what?
Yellow heart emoji, send.
Purple heart emoji and send.
I feel like you would also have to send some shorts.
So if you haven't figured it out by now, we're talking about the circle today. We're talking about the next 4 episodes of the circle.
Because they're releasing them in 4 to torture us.
Right, 4. I don't know why we're doing 4. It just seems like it just seems like 1 too many. I think 3 is a good one.
I think it's just 1 too many. It needs to. Yeah, I was like, it either needs to be 3 or 2. I feel like 2 makes the most sense to me, just because. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think 2 is that makes it longer. It can stretch it out a little bit. It won't seem because now we're at the finale already. Today,
it's like we got 3 blocks, and then we'll have another block,
and then we'll have another finale. So it just seems a little short. So I feel like 2 maybe, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But we're talking about
if you're gonna do 4, make the season 21 episodes. That's where I'd be cool with it.
Bring more people in.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Cause more shit. Bring people back.
Whatever.
Right. Bring people back. Because I miss that. I miss them sending people home or then thinking they're sending them home. And then they send them to the inner circle where they meet up with the other person they sent home in the double. And then they become back into the circle as one new player. I love that. Why can't we do that
I thought
again?
that's what was going to happen when they sent... Never mind. That's a future episode.
Oh, no. Don't.
We are only discussing episodes 5 through 8 today because I may or may not be only on episode 9.
I may or may not only be on episode 10. So, yeah.
Esme.
Well, I'm sorry.
Esme's an overachiever. Okay.
I'm sorry that I don't have a life, and then I ended up watching all the episodes in a sitting.
I wish I didn't have a life. Jesus.
Okay.
Well, actually, no, because I went to IKEA today as well, and then I watched them all at home. So, like, I don't know what my day was.
Let's see. Well, let's talk about 5 through 8 because where we left off.
Spice Girls vote 2022.
Spice Girls are here. The Spice Girls.
Spice Girls. Or as RuPaul says, the Space Gettles. I still don't know why she says it like that, but whatever.
Okay.
Keep on fracking, RuPaul. Keep on fracking.
She's old.
Oh, well.
She's old and decrepit. Anyway.
It's all those coffee enemas.
Oh, yes. So, where we left off, it was Spice Girls vote 2022.
2022.
4 votes.
Yes.
4 votes for not
Jared. And 2 votes
for Jared.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So then we get Yuling's vote.
No, we get Rachel's vote.
Oh, Rachel's vote.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think Rachel votes correctly, right?
No.
Rachel votes correctly in favor of getting more money.
Right.
Okay. So then they get the money. But as I said earlier, I think it's just we already knew going in that they had achieved their goal based on the wonky editing that they did of having Yuling, whose vote was not revealed that episode, go, it can't be Jared. So she probably didn't vote for Jared.
Right.
No.
If she's like, it can't be this person.
So it wasn't.
So at the end of the cliffhanger episode, I'm like, that's not a cliffhanger.
It's not really a cliffhanger at all. It's really just you ran out of time, I guess. Right, just whatever. But it's okay. Anyway,
it didn't ruin the episode. I just thought it was funny.
Rachel.
I just thought it was funny. That was like that went to editing and did not get caught. Like,
right. Yeah, the editing seems to be kind of weird. Yeah.
So so Rachel votes
for Alyssa.
Mm-hmm. So therefore, the Spice Girls complete their mission.
Spice Girls win!
Spice Girls win. And so the $50,000 is now added to the prize money, and the house guests don't even know it yet what that is. They just know there's a consequence.
Mm-hmm.
Then they find out what that consequence is because they found out that they did not correctly guess who's the Spice.
They did not guess. The Spice Girls correctly passed their task.
Yes.
Yeah. Because then we got Yuling votes for Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jared Rachel got 3.
3.
Yeah. And then Jared votes for Jared.
And everyone's like, everyone overacts. Everyone ends up overacting it. And it's like, oh my god. I would have just been like, okay, so it's Jared. I would have just been on my card to like, so it's Jared.
Oh, Jared.
He went to Jared.
He went to Jared.
They went to Jared.
They went to Jared.
Yeah. The prize is $150,000 now.
Yeah, $150,000 for them. Congrats to the Spice Girls for completing their mission, and then congrats to everybody else for getting a heftier prize cash at the end of this season. So that makes it even more exciting because now it's like not only in the words of Nathan, baby, not only are we getting a house, but we're gonna get a house with a pool. Woo!
I was like, for Nikki's sake, I would love that.
In what economy though?
Right. In what economy are we getting a house with a pool right now for $150,000?
Not in Arizona. It used to be affordable. Not anymore.
He must be moving. They must be moving. But congrats. But I thought it was funny because I was like, Oh, because Nikki, I hope you get your house with a pool because I love
Yeah,
Nikki.
right.
It's
Love
so cool.
Nikki.
But
It's just so like surreal seeing someone you know like on
yes.
Netflix. That was just like,
Uh-huh. Like I actually have seen before.
I have had several conversations with this man, and he is now on my television screen.
I
right.
had seen this man in a mini before.
It's
It's
weird, but it's great. I enjoy it. I'm like I said yesterday, I didn't know how it would feel because it's kind of weird, but I
Yeah.
think Alex is doing an amazing job in this.
I think
in
my
this game.
biggest worry for him with all this kind of archetype, with all these kind of like, I don't know if I would consider him fully a game bot, but with like these really strategic players, especially I think in the circle, they can quickly lose that social part.
Yes.
And I also notice when they get something wrong, it can break their game and it can break them because it's like I've put all my eggs in me being strategic. If now this is kind of falling apart, what do I have left? And I'm like,
I mean, we'll talk about that later because his game almost goes up in flames.
Yeah, he almost had a mini breakdown.
I think like that's been my biggest worry for Alex, is just like someone that is that strategic. It's like you need to figure out how to balance that with the social game as well, because it is a social media influenced game, not a strategic media influenced game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which I think. Yeah.
So the Spice Girls are leaving.
Yeah.
Goodbye, my friends. But they get to go visit someone.
I wanted them to visit Rachel because Rachel got the most votes.
I did too.
Me too.
So I'm glad I'm not the only one. I was like, I feel like Rachel deserves this. Like after getting the most votes, they thought that she was the Spice Girls, and she also just loves the Spice Girls. So like she was like saying how much she loved the Spice Girls. I was like, that would be really just like a nice kind of like, sorry everyone thought you were catfish, but here's the Spice Girls.
Right.
No, just kidding. They go to visit Alyssa.
Which is
because
fine.
Alyssa got it right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they I feel like, look, Alyssa's just very strategic, and she is on top of her stuff. Like she's taking copious amounts of notes.
Alyssa and Alex are playing a very similar game.
Yeah, I think like I think they felt that thing with Alyssa. Like this girl knows her stuff. She knows what she's doing, and she guessed it right. They wouldn't
she was in a really good position at that point too.
Yeah, she's in a good position, and I think, and I actually enjoyed seeing the visit between Alyssa and the Spice Girls. I thought that was really cute, and she's a fan too, and so seeing her being like, I'm trying not to freak out right now. Because like, yeah, I would have freaked out too. Because if the Spice Girls came to see me, especially Mel B, like I said, who was my favorite Spice Girl ever, period. So if Mel B.
I mean, I would have freaked out because they're my favorite too. Like,
right. Like, right. Like, literally, my top two are Scary Spice, then Baby Spice, then Posh, then Sporty. But, yeah.
Okay, good. We have the same ranking.
Mine is slightly different.
Mm-hmm. Well, then get out.
Okay, bye. No, mine is
me and Lana's influencer have chosen to block Logan from the Circle podcast. Goodbye.
Oh. No. Well, look, Esme talked me into it. I'm gonna throw it up and be like, well, I didn't want to do it, but I was bullied into.
Well, I've been in the inner circle, and I have a power, and I'm the secret super influencer. Bye, Esme.
Oh my
god! But wait, I had a power where two become one. And I get to now merge myself with any other person. Logan, we're playing the same person now.
Of course, Diva, I'm down. I'm ready.
We love a twisty twist in a game.
That's a good twist.
That's a good twist.
That's a good twist.
That's a good twist.
I love Hannah Tana.
Me too. That's a good twist. Okay, but Circle.
No,
yeah,
that's the reason I can. That's also the reason I can never go on the show, because I just feel like a parakeet saying, or like a fucking parrot saying random ass phrases all the goddamn time. I would not have anything original to say. Just like, that's a good twist. When like any of the shit comes up, I'm like, those were old maiden type shoes.
They're just quoting every
Go on.
reality show thing.
When I get on season 6 of The Circle, come on, season 6, let's get sickening.
You would.
Vodka?
That would be just everything in the world. But yeah, so we go to the next day. It is a spiceless next day in the circle.
No more spice.
So it's a white people food day.
Yes, it is unseasoned, bland chicken here at
boiled chicken.
Boiled chicken. You didn't even put salt in
no
the water.
Salt in the water.
Boil it. No bouillon. Nothing.
No cube. Nothing.
No.
Nothing.
A little salt from the tears of how tasteless it was.
It was very like but Alyssa, once they get their message from the Spice Girls and they get into the circle chat, everybody's like, who did the Spice Girls go see? Oh my God, I'm excited. Because the Spice Girls on their way out was like, everybody is not who they say they are, so just beware.
I would have, if I was Alyssa, I don't know, based just on that phrasing, I would have been like,
Pop, I would have said nothing.
Because how does it come? Because it's not like it can really come out. Because you know that the Spice Girls aren't. You know that the Spice Girls are not going to be brought back in.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like if like, let's say like back when like the first person was out, I would have maybe still revealed, been like, hey, that was me, because I would have still been like, maybe there's a chance that she comes back.
Sure. I think for me, the thing is, and I've seen this in pretty much every circle season I've seen, is like, if the first person blocked, like whoever the first person that's blocked goes visits, like I'm not explaining myself well. If I'm the first blocked, I go see Lana, right? If Lana then in circle chat the next day is like, Logan came to see me, if they're forthright about that information, then that becomes the norm for the season.
Yes.
But if Lana doesn't say anything about it in the first blocking, then no one's going to say anything.
Yeah, I agree. Because it's like the precedent has now been set that everybody needs to know, and people have come forth and said, yes, it was me.
An unwritten rule in the game of like, okay.
Yeah.
I think I've only seen one season where they didn't share like at all ever. I don't remember whether that was a US or a UK season, but I remember there was one where just like no one said anything.
I remember last season, I think it was Terralisha.
Was it Terralisha? I don't remember.
I think somebody didn't say, or no, they thought they went and saw, like, it's obvious they went and saw Terralisha when they didn't, and nobody confessed to who they went to see, and so everybody just assumed that they went and saw Terralisha, and it was Terralisha was like, no, nobody, but everybody by that time, everybody was already mad at and wanted her to go anyway, so I think that was just an excuse, but yeah, I think the president is always said at the first round, if the person comes out and just flat out come out and say it, then everybody after that feels like it's necessary to say who they went to see. But so Alyssa was like, yeah, the Spice Girls came to see me. I think if Alyssa didn't say that, if she didn't say that the Spice Girls came to see her, people would have assumed they wouldn't saw Rachel. I don't think people would have assumed they went to Alyssa. I
think it would have worsened Rachel's game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I'm honestly glad to, because I'm a Rachel stan in this house.
Me too. Same.
Okay, good. I think it's just like, and I'm glad that, like, I hope that she can get out of this kind of funk that she's been put in since she's entered, because she came in and she kind of immediately was kind of sus out for being the Spice Girls of the catfish, because she came in right around that time.
Right.
Yeah.
I would have assumed it was. I mean, I think Frank had the right idea at first. Did Frank guess it right?
Yes, he guessed it right.
Frank and Alyssa were the two that got it correct.
Frank had the right idea because Frank was like, I had the choice of bringing one of these two people in, and I think that whoever I brought in is playing like
right.
See, I definitely would have had that exact same mindset. Like, oh, then I like putting all the pieces together. It makes the most sense.
It would have been great for the people to figure it out. I'm glad they didn't figure it out because they get more money. But like, I wonder if they did figure it out, if they got him right. If the circle would eventually just gave him the 50K anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
Or
because
maybe
it was already in the budget.
Mel and Emma maybe would have done it or something like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Or it would have gone like to a charity if they're choosing. Like it would have gone to a charity of like
Sure.
Mel and Emma, like choice.
Because it was already budgeted, so if it's
Right.
already
Like,
there,
they wanted to give them $150,000, and the Spice Girls were the impetus to do that. So, like,
Right.
sure, whatever.
Great. It was entertaining, so it was nice to see.
I love seeing celebrities on these TV shows. This is a thing that I would love to see more.
I love seeing celebrities on there who takes it seriously. Like the Spice Girls took that very seriously.
You know who I want to see on the next season?
Britney Spears.
You want to know who I want to see on the next season? If it's a one person, Britney Spears. If it's a duo, Bob and Monet. I think that would be so much.
Oh, that would be so fun. I would love that.
I think they would also have so much fun with it. Like, too, is the thing.
Well, I think they're like, obviously they're celebrities for like the queer community, but like a lot of people in general that are watching The Circle on Netflix aren't going to know who they are. So honestly, just send them in as a duo to compete.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just want more of Bob and Monet in general because I love them. But like,
I would love to see like a celebrity go in as themselves and see if people actually believe that it's really them. Because like if I see a celebrity and I'm like, really?
It's like I know damn well that's not Keke Palmer.
Right. I know dang well that is not Keke Palmer up in this house.
Keke Palmer would do it though. That's the fun thing.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
I would love to see Keke Palmer.
I would love it because it'll be so entertaining, but I'd be like, come on.
No,
people are not gonna believe that
Keke Palmer. Like
the gag is really Keke Palmer.
If Keke Palmer ever like in some like multiverse gets on it and like gets blocked, I just hope that the person whoever that they go to visit goes, baby, it's Keke, baby, that's Keke Palmer. Like
that part.
I just want to see a celebrity go on and be themselves and see if people actually believe that it's them, or be like, I know it's a catfish, but I don't care. I'm just gonna play with it. Like for me, last season when Lance Bass's manager was in there or assistant, if it was actually Lance, I would be like, I don't care if it's not or who it is. I'm gonna keep Lance Bass around because I want Lance Bass to be here because I'm just such a fan. So I don't care if it's a catfish or not a catfish. I'm keeping this person around.
And in the 1 in a million chance that it is Lance Bass.
It is Lance Bass.
I want him to know that I was about
that life with Lance Bass. So when he get out this show, he gonna be like, yes, that was my ride or die in this game. I'm not kicking him out.
He's like, Lana, want to go get mimosas with me? Like,
period.
That part.
You know how I would just die and pass out if any member of NSYNC was in that house and I was there ride or die.
Chazé, but
please move on.
Oh no, we lost. Okay, let's move on to Who Do You Think? We've got Who Do You Think is up next. Oh no, actually, before that, we get a girl talk chat because everything needs to be gendered again.
Mm-hmm. And of course, it's by Mama. Is it like Mama Carol doing all this shit too?
Yes, and Mama Carol comes in and she's like, "I'm just gonna clock Chris's game for exactly what it is." While Chrissa is I loved this moment, not for Carol clocking Chrissa, but for Chrissa being in the bath and them having to do such a tight close up on Chris's face every time because you know the titties were out.
Of course.
It's just like, circle message. I don't know what I like. Whatever.
I would be so stressed. I'm like, I'm in the bath. I'm trying to relax. Can you not, Mama Carol?
Mama Carol, can you just like not right now, please?
Right. I'm really in the bath, right? Trying to relax right now. You really coming at me like this? For real? Can we not?
I'm about to send myself down the drain. Like
that part. Then we get the Who Do You Think game. So it's vote on who do you think fits the category. Mm-hmm. And the tester, the example is best vibe. That's cute. That's lovely. That's wonderful. And it is won by Alyssa, Chrissa, and Yu Ling, each with 2 votes. Carol and Frank each got 1. Cool. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
The next one is who should speak up more.
And that goes to Nathan, right?
Yeah, so Nathan gets 3 votes. Ling gets 2 votes.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brew, Krista, and Rachel each get a vote.
I was like, okay, Nathan been in the circle for a half a day.
Half a second.
How y'all want him to speak up?
I would have voted Krista there.
I would have said Krista as well, because I feel like Krista is very laid back, too laid back. So I would have voted for Krista.
Yeah.
Krista seems like, from Krista's gameplay, is very much letting things happen to her, which can work until you need to start making decisions.
Exactly. You have to know when you have to turn that switch on. I'm very much a fan of letting it happen. I'm going to sit back.
I also think that gameplay doesn't work great in the circle.
No.
Because you're by yourself. That gameplay works great in Big Brother. You know, like, get an alliance and let them do the work and let them go after each other and then start to be like, okay, now we're at this point in the game. I need to start doing more.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in the circle, it's not a game strategy that I would implement because I just don't think it works in the circle.
Because you're
relying only on yourself.
Right. And with this being a text-based game where translation can get lost in text. So you have to be able to not only just make sure what you want your point to get across is in the text, but you have to talk and be willing to be vulnerable with people and talk to people and not give them those, chill little answers like, no, I'm good. Everything's good. How are you?
Right.
I can't give you that. I have to give you, no, my day's going well. I just went to the store. I went and made me some breakfast and I'm eating, my snacks right now, cleaned up my apartment and, it's just about to go, do some yoga. What about you? I have to give you something in order to get something. So a lot of information is very key in these games where you can't talk to people one-on-one. Like you said, this will work in Big Brother. This will work in a mini strategy where you let things happen. I can sit back and be in an alliance with people who I trust in the game, and let's let this, it happen until it's time for me to make my move. It does not work when they can't see you and they can't look in your eye and see if you're being genuine or not.
Because especially, like I said before, especially in the circle, the only person you really can rely on in this game is yourself. Mm-hmm. In Big Brother, you really only are relying on yourself because that's the only person you can trust in the game. But you have other people there that you can talk to and gauge more easily if they're bullshitting you.
Right. Yeah. I agree completely. We then go to most.
That does not mean I don't think I don't think Chris isn't fun to watch. I think she's really fun to watch. I love Chris. Gameplay was a little different.
Yeah.
We'll talk because I said something in our first episode that I feel even more so confident in this set of episodes. So we'll talk about it. But we go to most strategic, and half the damn cast says Mama Carol.
Okay, this is where I got so confused between this question and the next question. I was just very confused how their minds are working right now. Mama Carol is most strategic.
I'm also just confused about how they're letting Mama Carol continue
this is what I'm saying, because she was voted most strategic, and then the next question was most trustworthy. And she got that too.
Which it was Alex though that was like, huh, right?
Yeah. I was like, and I was with him. I was like,
that's suspicious.
That's
weird.
Mm-hmm.
How do we say one person is the most strategic and then turn around and say, but they're the most trustworthy? And then every half of them are like, I know Mama Carol is a catfish, but I don't care. What? And but you know what? That's fine if people, because this is not about who's the catfish. This is not about scoping out catfishes. This, the game is not all about detective work.
I would have loved. Wait, was there a question that was who's most likely a catfish? Because that would have been great.
Everybody would have been like Mama Carol.
Not in this one. No, it was strategic, trustworthy, and then the last one was who will win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so most strategic, it went to Carol. Frank got 2 votes. Alyssa and Brew each got 1. And then, like we talked about, the trustworthy vote ends up being a tie between Carol, Krista, and Yuling with 2 votes each. And then Brew and Frank each got a vote. And then on the who will win vote, Carol, Krista, and Frank all got 2 votes. And then Alyssa and Brew got 1. And I made sure to write down Alyssa voted for Krista and Krista voted for Carol.
Mm-hmm.
In this moment. Those were the only ones that like really stuck out to me as like
interesting. I'm keeping in mind who they said who would win.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Also, y'all, when we did the that's suspicious, that's weird. My phone literally, my Google went off and was like report of like suspicious activity. I was like, no, Google, we're not doing that today, but like, thank you, honey.
That's what it was. I was like, did you get like I thought you got like an Amber Alert or something.
Me too. I'm like,
no.
I was like, did your Alexa just go off?
No, I don't have my Alexa near me.
Because I was like, because I heard, I was like, it's nothing that I have. But I was like, suspicious activity. I was like, it was like some van, like, or like.
I mean, that did actually happen in Tucson the other day, but they caught the person, so like, good for them.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I saw a van.
Sorry, smile.
I'm starting a van life YouTube channel.
A mess.
Very late to the trend.
Yes. After the game, we get this like very like blasé chat with Nathan and Krissa. Krissa's like, "Yeah, Nathan, go support Yuling. The vibes are good here. Whatever."
And it's very much go girl, give us nothing.
Right. Yes.
The chat that actually matters in this segment is the throuple chat, where Brew, Alyssa, and Yuling are talking, and Alyssa gives them a little bit of tea about what happened with the Spice Girls, saying that the Spice Girls were really curious about the relationship between Nathan and Rachel not really trusting each other. And so they were kind of conflicted on that. But then all 3 of the throuple individually are like, well, we've gotten good vibes from both Nathan and Rachel. So I'm not really sure what their thing is, but I don't have an issue.
At this point, they are not really on the same side.
All right, they have not talked.
No. Yeah.
I don't really know why I cannot remember why they aren't really on the same side.
I mean, Nathan kind of threw Rachel under the bus to Jared, and Jared turned around and told Rachel that Nathan didn't trust her and thought she was the Spice Girl. So Rachel was kind of like, "Oh, wow." So it was kind of like they just didn't talk at this point, and they hadn't had a chance to connect. And then hearing from other people what other people are saying about them. It was very much telephone, and so it was just that. And so, but yeah, it was interesting to see the throuple was kind of both like, we kind of vibe with Nathan and with Rachel. Like, Yuling was like, I talked with Nathan and I flirt, blah, blah, blah. And then Yuling also had a conversation with Rachel. And so she, it was just kind of like.
So my question is, are they going to become a pentuple?
They wanted to bring somebody in, but it was kind of,
they were going to bring Nathan in.
Yeah, to make it like a double date type thing.
Yeah.
But whatever.
We also got, right before the ratings, we get this really lovely conversation between Rachel and Frank that I was like, please talk, please, because I know y'all have like, y'all are on the same wavelength. And
like, I feel like, honestly, they are two of the most similar, but like very like, if that makes sense. Like they're on like they're 2 sides of the same coin to me.
I agree.
Like, and I think that's why I love both of them so much. Is like
yeah.
And I feel like Yuling's like also kind of in the same like piggy bank as them, per se.
Yeah.
I don't know what my
so Rachel's talking about how like today was tough, and like the Spice Girls vote obviously was very tough because she got the most votes. And they're both kind of being really vulnerable. Frank kind of slides in this moment talking about how his mom had passed. That like he has not shared that up until what I've watched at this point, has not shared that with anybody else. And so this feels like, as much as I love Frank and I love the way that Frank is playing this game, this definitely felt like the most personal conversation Frank has had in the circle at this point.
I feel like Frank had his conversation with Rachel was very like when he was going to open up the most, but his conversation with Krissa felt like very familiar. They knew each other. Like, this is my home girl. This is my homeboy. Like they felt like they grew up together and they know each other, and it was a very familiar conversation. So that made it like fun to watch them have that interaction between them two. So I feel like Frank I think Frank is much of a vibe person. He definitely if he vibes with you, you get the great conversations. And it's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, I think there's a reason why people like him a lot in this game.
Well, it's time for some ratings. Ooh, ratings. Alert!
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 Alert! Oh my god! Alert!
Wait, I'm gonna take my headphones off for a second.
Oh my god! Alert! What you want, Big? What you want, Circle? Oh my god! I haven't even had my coffee yet.
It's time to do some ratings.
Yep.
And we've got some good rating results. Are we ready to hear the ratings once again?
Please.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Carol is up first, and Carol, in their first position, has placed Yuling. Kinda gagged.
Got gagged a little bit.
Yuling ranks Alyssa first.
Okay.
Alyssa also rates Yuling first. Frank and Krissa rate each other first. And Brew has Mama Carol. Sure, whatever. This is where Nathan comes in, and Alex is a little strategic. He's like, I could really F with these ratings right now.
Because Rachel and him are not getting ranked.
All right.
Yes.
They can rank, but they cannot be ranked.
Yeah. So Nathan decides he's going to rate Carol second. The gag. Rachel is rating Krissa third. Yuling is rating Brew fourth, which I thought with the throuple of it all was a little interesting. But nevertheless, we see Krissa rating Carol fifth. Alyssa is rating Krissa fifth, and Nathan is rating Brew fifth, which is interesting knowing what we know about the future episodes,
right?
Whatever. And then they all have to go to bed because we're just going to find out tomorrow.
Yep. Good night, Circle.
I'll be
good night. So let's go to episode 6, where we wake up the next morning. Alyssa has a really lovely quote, all is fair in circle and war, which, sure. I'm pretty sure that's been said before, but like, whatever, I liked it. And then Rachel decides she's going to lead a morning meditation group with the whole circle, which I thought was really cute. Some people took it seriously. Some people like half took it seriously. Yuling was falling asleep, but like, whatever.
Yeah, there's no way for her to know what you're actually doing.
Exactly.
You could just been sitting there eating fucking Cheetos and be like, I feel so relaxed now.
Right. And of course, Nathan is doing his frat boy things because Alex is playing into that character hardcore. And so Alyssa's yeah, and Alyssa's like, thanks for nothing, Nathan. Go on, girl, give us nothing. But then Alyssa also talks in this chat about struggling with anxiety, which I always love seeing on TV, people talking about it, because a lot of people don't talk about it. So let's talk about it more. Sure. Then we get one of the more formative group chats of this set of episodes, and that is a group chat with Yuling, Krissa, and Frank.
Yes.
They're all kind of freaking out. This is the first time all three of them are in the same group chat talking. They all genuinely seem like they're on the same page. The vibes are immaculate. And then Yuling actually opens up a little bit and talks about the shame that she feels for being the size she is, her culture, her gender, all that kind of stuff. And they all have a lovely bonding moment here. And yeah, this chat was just lovely.
It was.
It was
I feel we got like a lot of these moments this season, which I'm really appreciative of.
I like seeing people actually being real and honest with stuff. And what I love that, but I don't love when people only do it because of its game.
Mm-hmm.
And you can, you can tell when people are doing it because it's game and they want to seem like they're opening up and they seem like they're more vulnerable. But when it just happens organically and naturally, I love seeing those moments. And if you go use it as a strategy, do what you got to do. But I like more organic, like, yeah.
And Yu Ling comes out of this, has mentioned something really interesting after this conversation, where she's like, I feel really, really good with this alliance. And it's not that I don't feel good with the throuple. It's just like, I trust Alyssa a lot. But Brew is just playing a little too diplomatic for me at this point, and I just kind of have an issue with that.
Which is very valid, a very valid thing to say.
I absolutely agree.
Completely. I mean, Brew has been giving, but giving nothing at the same time. Like, it's like he always. I mean, you can catch good with the Brew puns and good with making a joke and making it light up the situation, but he just at this point he had just really given anything. But people just like being around Brew.
So he kind of fills a very similar role to the way that I felt like Courtney played on season 2, where Courtney was always lovely. Sure. Courtney was always very lovely and like bubbly in chat, but never really gave a lot to anyone specific other than like one person.
Right.
And that's kind of really how I feel with Brew.
And I'll be honest, I think his job might be part of this reason as a radio host. Yes. Because his job is to really, I mean, I haven't listened to it, but like his job is really to be this person that's like there to be like make small talk, make the other person, make the person that he's interviewing feel very comfortable. And I think he can't, it's not his fault, like that's his job. I feel like that's part of, I think that to me is kind of translating into the game in not a helpful way.
Because I feel like I would very much so play that way, honestly, if I were to go in. Is like just with the amount of like podcasting that I've done at this point, like it's a very similar universe. So like I would understand when to like dig a little bit deeper and like be a little bit more vulnerable, but also like
you have a different kind of fight because you are part of the mini community, so you've done this before. Where I feel like because from what we know, Brew's not part of the mini community. Brew hasn't played minis, but I think Brew's job is kind of hurting his game a little bit, and I think that just kind of clicked for me. I was like, that's like, I think that's kind of where he's struggling, and that's why he's coming off this way a lot, is because that's how he has to act in his job.
Yeah. And then this is kind of skipping ahead, but we get 2 conversations in like a decent period of time involving Brew. The first is with Nathan, where it's just bro, brew, if you will.
I could not stomach this. I was like, God damn it, I hate it here.
But Nathan lets him know of his connection with Yu Ling, so Brew is kind of like, what's brewing, if you will.
If you will.
Can I just say, can we get Brew out so we can get rid of these terrible Brew puns? Please?
I'm sick of Brew puns. I don't want to hear another Brew pun in mine. It's all about Brew. I love Brew.
Brutal. The only thing I need is, God, it's brutal out here. And that would be fine. That's it. That's all I need.
That part. And then later on, we also get Brew talking with Yu Ling because of this conversation that he had with Nathan. And immediately, Yu Ling isn't even in the message, and she's like, what are Brew's intentions with this message? And Brew is kind of flirting, but being like very, very forward about it.
And I feel like they had flirted a little bit at the start, but then Nathan came and they stopped.
Well, and obviously, like, they're in the throuple, so, like, whatever. But then, like, Yuling is, like, kind of giving it back to Brew, like, the same way. But then it gets, like, a little, like, personal, because then Brew kind of has this moment where he's like, I don't really know, like, I get awkward with this kind of stuff. That's why, like, the one-on-one conversation with you is better than, like, being in a chat with you and Alyssa, because I've dealt a lot with self-confidence issues, insecurities. I think something that probably all three of us can relate to in one way or another.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've always been so secure and confident within my body. I've never had any issues.
Anyway, Lana,
it's
no,
not like I anything.
No, very that. But yeah, I liked seeing a more human side of Brew. Because I like Brew. I think Brew's a lovely person. I'm just tired of the Brew puns, so I'd like him to go. But
that's the only issue with
truly the only issue I have with Brew. Like, truly the only one.
Cast people with names that you can't really make puns out of. So cast
Hi, all three of us.
Mm-hmm.
When we go in and all three of us are in the same apartment, we play the same person. That would be a goddamn disaster.
That'd be a mess.
We would get kicked off so quickly because we would never talk to the people on the circle. We would just talk to each other. Like
that part.
I mean, it would be crazy because you got three people's personalities trying to correlate one message. So you're gonna be like, circle message.
Could do it because I feel like we have like a similar. I feel like there's a middle ground. I feel like.
I feel like we'll get caught out because we'll be like, okay, wait, we got to make this message right, and it's like, okay, put this in there. Okay, no, take that out.
Very
okay, put this,
MMLB.
Very MMLB. And the message would be so freaking long.
The person's like waiting 5 minutes, and the text is like, the text comes back, "Hey, girl."
hey, Queen Pussy Splay Pop.
Like, all we have to do is just greet them. How was turning into a battle royal conversation? Like, I don't know. Wait. Put this in there. No, take that out. We can't say that. But I don't want to say that. But we got to make it right. But take that out.
How could you do that?
No, don't say that. Take that out.
No, because there'll be change like circle message, and it'll be change it out and caps lock send. And what the fuck is this?
What is that? Like, yeah, no.
I would probably just give up at one point and be like, I trust y'all. I'm going to go make dinner. Like, I'm going to just go chill and make some dinner.
Me too. I'll be like, baby, I'm about to go take a nap. Y'all make sure y'all hold it down. I'll be back.
And I'm just like, I guess, because I'm an insomniac, I'm the one that's up all night sending messages.
I'll be like, you go right ahead, baby. I'm going to take a nap.
I'm like, Logan, feed me some eggs.
Very that. We also got a chat with Carol and Alyssa where it starts off just like John is like, I guess I have to talk about my mother's sex life. I'm like, you don't have to.
You really don't.
This was not a necessary conversation
because
to have.
Alyssa did not bring it up.
Right. If Alyssa started the group chat and said, hey, Mama Carol, you were talking about how you wanted to know about to spice up your life, so let's have that conversation. But no, you started the conversation. You put yourself out there. And so, since you're out there, you doing it. Don't act like, oh my God, I'm having a conversation about my mom's sex life. You did that. Alyssa didn't call you. You called her.
Also, I can't really put myself in his shoes because, like, my mom has been single since my mom has been divorced since I was 2, and like. She had a relationship, but like she's not that person. So like I mean, I would do it and not care because everything I'm saying is gonna be made up. I don't know about my parents' sex life, and I don't want to know. So if I'm gonna sit there and talk about it, it's gonna be something I create in my own head about what I think is what I would assume is happening. I'm not gonna go back and be like, oh wait, I think like I'm not gonna like if my mom was living, I wouldn't have went to my mom before this and say, hey mom, like,
tell me about
can you give me pages about what you like in bed?
Right, in bed, just in case it comes up in the circle. Like, no, No,
It's
I'm
like
not
if
gonna
I
be
was,
cringe about it.
it's
I'm
like
just
if
gonna
I
make
was
up a
playing
story.
Logan, I might, and it's like came up, I'd be like, I would lie and be like, I don't know, I like being tossed up in the air like a piece of dough.
Just say some wild, outrageous stuff, and go on with your life, because you don't have to think about your mom's sex life if just because you're playing your mom. You
So
can
I'm
just,
actually a dominatrix.
oh my god, oh my god.
Slay.
Oh my god. Oh no, we lost Lana. Oh no, there's Lana. Lana's back. Okay.
Oh my god.
But then Carol makes sure to slide in. I'm really happy you're here. I'm so happy I saved you at the first blocking. We'll come back to that because it becomes relevant later. But we get ratings results. The results of the ratings. And Chris has left.
Womp womp.
Crystal gets
And-
put last, and I'm like, fuck.
I was like,
Very
not that.
Very that. And then Brew and Carol tie for fourth.
And I'm like, Brew. I'm like, this would be a wake up call for me if I was Brew, because I'd be down low again.
All right.
And then we're left with Alyssa, Frank, and Yuling. Third place ends up being Frank, meaning that our influencers are Yuling and Alyssa.
With Alyssa being
Second,
right?
and Yuling first.
Yeah.
Which I screamed. The scream I scrumped.
Me too. Me too.
Scream, I screamed.
I did scream. I was like, very much, yes.
I would be much happier if we replaced Frank with Alyssa, but
I was very much if Frank would say 2 and Alyssa be third, but whatever.
Sure.
Because Crystal would still be here. I said it. I spoiled it. I don't care because I'm upset.
Because honestly I think it would have been Mama Carol leaving here.
Agreed, completely.
Yeah.
If it's Frank and Yuling, absolutely. Before we dive into the hangout, we get the world's worst roast hosted by Nikki Glazer.
This was such a waste of time and space and energy. I
love Nikki Glazer.
Nikki Glazer, great. I don't know this woman. I never heard of her before, but great.
Oh, really?
No, I didn't know her. But
her comedy's great. I highly recommend.
I love. I mean, she seems like a funny lady, but like,
yeah, she seems like. But the roast gave very much pheromones roast.
Let's get this roasted cooking.
None of those were roasts.
None of them.
I mean,
Brew. Okay, Brew.
The only ones that really had roast were Brew
and Rachel.
And Rachel, yeah. Those are the only ones I wanted.
I thought Rachel was better.
I agree completely.
I agree too. I thought Rachel's was better than Brew's.
I was like, Rachel.
Let's start with an affirmation. I am not a catfish.
Rachel, right?
I am not a catfish. Okay, you got to say it a little louder, Carol. I am not a catfish.
I was like,
this was one of the single best reality TV moments I've ever experienced.
No, I was like, the gaggery of it all.
This made me fall in love with Rachel so much more because this was the first moment we really got to see that tongue on her. She like, I do not fucking care. She's like, because she knows how to call people the fuck out. And this wasn't anonymous either, which was why I really like this, and it was bold because it was not anonymous.
Yeah.
But she does not, she's like, I don't care. I think she was also like, I'm already kind of low. I think she was like, I think I'm low. I'm safe already now, so I don't really have anything to lose right now. I think she was honestly in a spot where she could kind of say buck wild ass shit.
Yeah.
And I think this has just made me fall in love with her more because I'm like, you are just don't care, and it's like you're the player that we want to see on these shows, where it's like you're giving the drama, but not like bad drama, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
she's giving.
She gave.
She did what needed to be done.
I was very happy with her roast like that.
That to me was the mini roast. That one, she could have said anything. Her other roast could have been like, "You Ling, you bye," like
right.
Like
it was still good. It was like that one alone would have won the whole thing for me because I was like, oof, the gaggery of it all. But
well, Brew wins. Cool, whatever.
I mean, this is the thing. His roast was actually a good roast, and I was like, if you go do it, like I don't like them trying to be like I didn't. Nobody else's roast was like funny. It's nothing. And Frank's rap, he was like, "I'm rap. That was good." I was like, "No, you."
The
Girl,
only
that
other
wasn't
one,
a roast.
the only other
That was
one,
not a roast, and that was not a good rap.
No.
that part. The only other like roast moment that was comparable, but it's something we've like Esme and I have heard countless times on Drag Race is, Brew, you've got a great face for radio.
Yeah.
Like that's a thing I've heard countless times.
And that's
before.
and she said that too. I think
Yeah.
she was like, that's
Yeah,
like
and I appreciated Nikki saying that because see, this is the challenge where like I love Nikki Glazer, but bring in Bianca Del Rio. Like that would be fierce. Baloney. But I know it's Netflix. Nikki has her Netflix special, whatever. Like I get it, cool, whatever.
Mhm.
But like, but yeah. So we go to the hangout with Yu Ling and Alyssa, and immediately they keep Brew and Frank safe. It's like the immediate like, well, who do you want to keep safe, girl? I don't know, girl. Who do you
I knew
want to
Brew
keep
was safe
safe,
going
girl?
into this
Agreed.
because
Of the throuple.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I figured Frank would be safe as well because I figured if Alyssa's going to save Brew, then Yuling's going to save Frank. Cool,
Well,
whatever.
I mean, we all knew going into the hangout who Alyssa had on her mind, who she wanted to go.
it was either going to be Krista or Mama Carol, and it would just would have been whoever would have been able to convince the other person.
Yeah.
And we don't get to see most of it because they don't want to spoil who goes, like, until they send it in the chat.
Well, it's also interesting. Yeah, so they didn't show it until the next episode. But I also want to point out that they do talk about Carol and how they both had the same conversation with Carol, where Carol was like, I saved you both at the first blocking.
Which to me would have been get her out.
Agreed completely.
Agreed.
So, like, I feel like this conversation probably had to have lasted a long time.
Yeah, because but I also think, like, Yulin can't really reveal to Alyssa here that she's in a different 3-person alliance with Krista and Frank.
Yeah.
So it's like, if she goes to bat so hard for her, it kind of raises flags for Alyssa, which is understandable. But I wish that it just, like, I think it just made more sense to get rid of Carol here for both of their games, to be honest.
Yeah,
I agree.
As we see later, it would have been easier if they did get rid of Carol because
it comes back to
bite Alyssa,
But so we go. They make their decision, and then they're like, "You Ling, because you're number one, you have to go block this person face to face." And I was like, "You've got to be joking."
That's sick.
And then we dive into the next episode.
You know, it's only because of that alliance that formed that episode.
100%.
100%.
But so they go, and
because if it was Carol, it would have just been
Carol goes.
Yeah. We lose Krista, and I'm sad. Because the same damn thing happened to another one of my faves on a previous season, Miss Cat. The same damn thing happens. The same damn thing happening to these beautiful black women.
Fun fact. You know how I told you earlier that, like, there was a winner spoiler?
Mm-hmm.
With that, like, when people were searching it up, it said this person had won. It was Krista. Everyone was searching it up, and they were searching up, like, the Circle season 4, like, after the first 4 episodes had aired or something.
Yeah.
And it said the Circle season 4 winner, like, on a Google thing. Like, that popped up, like on, like, the side of Google, and it was Krista.
Oh, wow.
So many people thought that she had won, like, in the Reddit and stuff.
Mm.
And they were.
I would have been fine with that, but no.
I honestly would have been fine with that. So, like, going into this episode, I didn't expect her to go because of that in the back of my mind.
Sure.
So I was gassed.
Yeah.
I was gooped.
Yeah.
I felt that it was going to happen because I was like, Alyssa is on a mission. She came in with her game plan.
This whole episode kind of was setting up her was setting up Krista's exit.
I felt like Yulin was very much like not sure what she was going to do. And when you're not sure, you can be swayed. And so Alyssa went in there with a game plan. She knew exactly who she wanted to go.
I think that's Yulin's biggest weakness, and we'll see that come up too. is the flip-flopping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so. She's not very like headstrong on what she wants.
Right, like,
she's still trying to figure stuff out, and
it's not
she's
really
easily swayed. She's like easily like, oh, this person is done. Oh, they're so sweet. I like them now. Like you went in one conversation saying, I don't trust Brew. What is Brew doing? What is he up to? And he gives you one vulnerable moment, and it's like everything that Brew talked about, everything that me and Brew had is out the window. I love him. He's amazing. I don't want him to go anywhere. It's like one conversation does that.
And it's not like she's playing in the middle, which I feel like she's not playing in the middle. I think she's in the middle, but she's not playing the middle, if that makes sense.
Yes. Because I feel like at this point, the person playing the middle the most is Nathan.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And so, which, like, sure, whatever. But yeah, so Yuling has to block Krista. I hate it. We move. So we go to the next morning. Chris is...
Also, every time they cut to Yuling in that bathroom and she has to use that step stool, it's like, I'm like, you're so tiny. I just didn't know. Like,
literally that. I'm like, oh, sad. Chris's video, she says, much love to some of y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to Circle Chat, and Alyssa's like, we just had to make the decision that was best for us at this moment, basically. Mm-hmm. And Alex immediately is like, nah, there was something else going on. I wanted this girl out.
I just feel like the Circle Chat after the morning message is just everybody trying to... It's the fakest thing ever. Like, that conversation, that chat is the fakest chat ever. Oh my God, I'm so sad that Krista's gone. She seems like a real one. This family circle fan won't be the same without her. She's amazing. Like, was she that amazing? She wasn't that amazing if you voted her out. So
she wasn't that amazing if y'all had her 6th in the rating.
Right. So let's not. Yeah. It's crazy, but yeah, it's the weirdest thing for me.
Yeah. So then we get a good chunk of just individual conversations. We start with Frank and Yuling, and they have to kind of like pick up the pieces because now Chris is gone, and that was an alliance that they had. But Frank and Yuling both are like, no, we're still good. Mm-hmm. What happened, but we're still good. And I didn't know how Frank was gonna react to this, but I'm happy that it was positive because he understands it's a game. Because we've seen in the past a lot of people have not responded positively, and it ends up going against them. So.
Right. What I did find interesting about this conversation, because this is the conversation Yuling was like, Carol was very quick to tell me that she was the one that saved me, which made Frank look like he wanted Yuling gone. And Alyssa. But Frank was like, what? She said what? And she was like, yeah, Mama Carol told me. And then Mama Carol also told Alyssa that she was the reason we were here. And Frank was like, oh, like saying I wanted y'all gone, which is furthest from the truth. And Yuling is like, I know that's not true. And I believe that you didn't want us to go. And he was like, no, I didn't even say y'all name. Like, it was weird for Carol to do that and say it like that, because it did make Frank look like he wanted them gone, which when they did go to the hangout, what we talked about earlier, they all had the same people in mind they wanted to save. That was like the easiest blocking of the season, because everybody was very suspicious of Paul, like from the get-go. Like, nobody was like vibing with Paul at all. So for Carol to go back in the game like, I'm the reason you're here, blah blah blah. I get you wanting to hedge your your group and strengthen your alliance, but people talk. Yeah. People talk. We can't make flippant statements and not think it's going to get back to that other person.
What goes around comes around. It's a circle.
All the time. It's a circle. That's what it does. But yeah.
Yeah. So they then decide we're gonna add someone that we trust, someone that we like, someone that we want to get to know more. And they add Rachel to the chat, and I just love it.
Which
And she's accordioning while they add her to the chat.
Which is, this is my dream 3. Like, this is my dream 3, and I was so happy that Rachel got added. I was like, yes, because it was like, especially because I feel like it was smart of them as well, because Rachel was such a free agent at this point.
Yeah.
Like, Rachel didn't really have any connections.
Yeah.
And
this
really helps Rachel, too.
Yeah.
They all bond over the fact that they don't trust Carol, which I love. Right. Hashtag inner trust circle. So we go from that conversation. Brew and Carol check in. They're an alliance. That's all.
Whatever.
Mama and Baby Brew.
Look, so we move.
We move to Alyssa.
I sat still.
I sat still, but we moved to another conversation. And that's Alyssa and Nathan. Having their first sort of private chat together. Hadn't really done anything out of like a group chat. And Nathan says that Brew has said nothing but good things about her. And Alex is really, this is the moment where he's like, I want to make an alliance. I want this alliance with me, Nathan, Brew, or me, Alyssa, Brew, and Yuling. And I was like, that's an interesting alliance given where specifically Yuling is in the game. You know, we kind of see that not really last super long.
Everyone pretty much in an alliance with Yuling except for Mama Carol.
Yep.
Literally.
Everybody.
Yeah. So.
And but I was laughing because I'm like, those of you are already in an alliance, so like you're just adding yourself to a pre-existing alliance.
Right.
Sure, Alex, go off. You add yourself to that pre-existing throuple. Sure.
Go ahead.
And I already talked about wanting him for like a double date alliance thing.
Right.
It just works out. It would just like funny just to see like that like.
Yeah. Well, we got new players! Yay! It wasn't, but alert! There's new players. And the first one is Everson. I love him. I want him to do so well. I love him. He is 35. He's a cruise director from Atlanta. And he gets energy from making other people feel good. He's got his good morning song on his cruise. And he's playing as himself. And he's very nice to look at. So I'm not mad. And then we get Trevor. Trevor of technically winning fame of season 2 of The Circle, even though he didn't do a damn thing.
I have no context.
Well, so Delisa played the hell out of this game, point blank and the period. So,
which Amani isn't as much.
Yeah, so Trevor is going in as Delisa's friend Imani, which is a really interesting dichotomy now because he's kind of just able to take her photos and just do whatever he wants and just make a new personality out of it, which I kind of love, taking someone that you know and just like molding a whole new different version of them. So they go in, they're not even able to have a chat together, and immediately they're like, so you're both hosting rival parties. You've got this theme. Everson's is under the sea. And Imani is hosting a toga party. And
which I feel like they were a little unbalanced. I will be honest.
I completely agree.
Yeah, because who doesn't want to go to a toga party? Like Under the Sea,
I've been to too many.
Under the Sea seems more like a prom,
right? And I think based with the cast too. I think what they should have done was, I guess like what I feel like they could have done was have them be very similar themes, like, and like I know it's gendered, but like maybe have like one be like a sorority party for Imani and a frat party for Everson. But then I think it just becomes all the guys go to the frat party and all the girls go to the
Right.
I appreciated at least it just wasn't gendered. That's
Yeah, I'm
all
just
I
like,
cared about. But
I'm just like, or like, do like themes that are like simple, like that aren't like fun, like a black and white party and like something else, like.
or like you could do toga party, but then do like, I don't know. I've been to enough frat parties in my day. I should know some
Or you know
themes.
what they could have done is done a Greek party and a Roman party. You know, there that solves the problem.
Sure.
They're close.
Cool.
I don't know.
Or like do like a toga party and do like a caveman party. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like
Yeah.
something
Or like
a little bit more
yeah.
like equivocal. Like, I don't know.
Or like an after party or something.
Or
like.
or both parties should just been like a Halloween party. It's just a costume party. It's just, or a masquerade. Like one of them could be a toga party, one could be a masquerade party.
Or
That's cute.
have them completely choose their own theme too, from like a selection of themes.
I agree completely.
Like have like them have the same themes pop up, but like I don't know.
You get to pick from like 8 or something. Like
Right.
it's not like forced onto you.
Right. But then it's like they get their own choice, and it's like, are they picking based on their own personality, or are they picking based on what they think is going to be the most? Yeah.
So they're doing that. While they do that, before the party invites go out, we get a real quick chat with Rachel and Nathan, finally connecting. And Nathan says that they need to stick together, and Rachel is on board with this.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, I mean, this is like the latest that we've seen like a group of newbies have a conversation where they're like, no, let's stick together. Typically we see that happen very, very early on in their circle experience.
Right.
But at this point, this is like the latest we've seen it. So they're sticking together. Cool. Party invites go out, and we see who goes to what party. And Everson only has 2 people go to his party, and I felt bad.
Which are Rachel and who again?
Brew.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I forgot about Brew again.
Oh no, you forgot about the generically handsome white man? Oh no. The generically handsome white man in his mid-20s? Oh no.
You know what? I can rock a turtleneck too, as someone said in the house.
I love it. So yeah, the toga party, there's 6 of them, so it ends up being Imani, Carol, Alyssa, Nathan, Yuling, and Frank. The Under the Sea party ends up being Everson,
honestly,
Drew, and Rachel.
My thought was, would I want less people so I get more of a chance to talk to them one-on-one?
Yes.
Or do I want to have more people so that I can just talk to most of them at once?
I want less people.
I
so
would
that
rather
way I
have
can
less
create
people.
better connections.
Exactly. So I think everything could have really used this to his advantage.
Yeah. Well, we also see Brew and Rachel they're all going through each other's profiles, whatever. And we do see in Everson's profile that he has listed ADHD as my superpower. And I'm like, yes! Me too!
I think Rachel says me too as well, or something like that.
I think so, yeah. And I'm like, yes, we love to see it. But yeah, the parties happen. The toga party is very generic and nothing really happens. And they're like, what would your sexy statue pose be?
And it's like, you can't even really say it. Like, you can't send a picture of yourself doing
Literally.
it.
Everybody everybody here, do your sexy statue pose.
There.
Ma'am.
What?
Ma'am, this is a podcast.
And I don't want to get you guys flagged, so let me stop.
Oh, it's whatever. I don't care. Mine would probably be like just Macaulay Culkin Home Alone.
Not the Home Alone. Oh, me. Me and Lana having similar ones. Me and Lana. You know, I want mine to be like, I got frozen by Medusa, actually. Like, I saw Medusa, I'm like,
that part.
A mess.
That part. Well, we go into... This takes us into episode 8.
Oof, we're just at episode 8. Okay.
We're at episode 8. We made it to episode 8. We're 3 episodes done. 1 more.
Come on, 8.
And it is the next morning. Ooh, work, Diva. We go to the next morning, and then they're just...
I don't know why you just do this.
It's fine. We end up getting 2 group chats with the people that went to the respective parties, just with the opposite host.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they wanted to talk to everybody, so that's what
you like the party part 2.
Right.
What would be the point of the parties?
So in the giant group chat with Everson,
Honestly,
the only thing. Go ahead.
I kind of think this, like, have they done the parties before?
They've done things similar, I think, on the
Mhm.
UK version.
They've done things similar here too on the US version.
So I don't. To me, this would, as a producer, I'd be like, the party idea doesn't work then, because they immediately would the next day start a group chat with the other ones.
Yeah. So
Like, I like the idea of them picking two people to start like a group chat with or something.
they did that earlier with Rachel and
Rachel,
Nathan, which I liked.
which I really liked that because it gives them, they can only choose. Yeah.
The only thing out of that giant group chat that I wrote down, honestly, is that Alyssa was flirting with Everson.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it. Everything else was kind of like, oh my god, welcome to the circle. Hashtag circle besties. Hashtag circle fam. Hashtag can't believe you're here. Hashtag so happy you're here.
Hashtag move along with this boring conversation.
The one that I care about is the conversation with Imani, Brew, and Rachel. So Imani, Trevor out the gate is like, I'm so sad you didn't come to my party. I'm like, girl, what? You had more people at your party. Why are you complaining that these two did not come to your party?
2 people when you had 6.
If she had been in the opposite scenario, I would have understood it more. But whatever.
No, she had 4, not 6. But you were talking to 2 people when you had 4. When you had double the amount.
Literally 5. It was 5.
Right, because there's 9. I just always think there's 8 in the house in the game.
Sure.
Because I think there's usually is.
Yeah. And so Imani's kind of digging for some tea, and Rachel, being Rachel, again, we stand Rachel. Rachel straight up is like, yeah, Carol's not trustworthy.
Yeah.
You make your own opinions, but Carol's not trustworthy. And so Brew is like, well, I think Carol's great. And I'm like, oh no. Oh no.
It's like, Brew, if most people in the game right now are saying we don't like Carol, maybe that's a clue for, even if you really do like her, not to mention it in front of the other one.
Literally. But whatever. And then, alert! 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 It's a virus! Ah!
Oh, the virus.
There's a security breach. And this whole thing, I'm gonna be honest, was kind of dumb.
This whole thing was anticlimactic as fuck for me. I am so sorry.
That part.
So the way they phrased it, I thought more than one person would be leaving.
Me too.
Same.
I was waiting for it to be like 2 people are leaving the circle tonight.
But I thought when it came down, to the 3 people left, it was gonna be like blah blah blah, save one person.
The other 2 are blocked. Yeah.
And then my mind was like, okay, so the other 2 probably gonna get blocked and then meet together and form a new profile.
Exactly.
It should have been.
I wouldn't happen, to be honest. Actually, I don't. I don't, because I didn't want this one. I'm because based on the bottom 2, I wanted one of them out. Like, if both of them left, I would have been happy with one of them leaving. I think y'all know who it is. I'm an avid anti-him right now.
What? No way. Anyway, so we get the security breach, and so a player's photo album is randomly given to another player. We see Brew gets Nathan's, Nathan gets Alyssa's, Alyssa gets Rachel's, Rachel gets Yuling's, Yuling gets Carol's, Carol gets Frank's, and Frank gets Brew's. So it's a nice little chain thing. Mm-hmm. And then you have to post a photo and post an anonymous question. And most of these questions were kind of really dumb and stupid.
Actually, I think it was more the answers, because so many people dodged the questions, I think.
Yeah.
Well, so Carol starts with Frank and posts a photo and is like, is this you scheming another Mr. Nice Guy comment? And I loved Frank, Frank being Frank, who we love.
Like, no, this is me getting mimosa. This is me that's scheming a way to get another mimosa at brunch.
I'm like, hello, yes. Yu Ling gets asked, who in the circle would you not tell a secret to? And she doesn't answer.
She's like, I like all of you.
And Rachel's like, well, that's not an answer, but cool. And then Rachel gets asked a question by Alyssa, but she doesn't know that. And it's talking about how she's the first to stir the pot. Are we all pawns in your game? Because it's a photo of her playing chess. Rachel has like a really eloquent answer where she's like, no, I'm just being myself. And like, that's just how I am.
Because there was also another part of it. I think Rachel had the best answer to me out of everyone here.
Agreed.
Because there was the first part was like, how can you call yourself like the Queen of Zen when you're
the first to stir the pot? Yeah.
And then she goes and it's like, I can be I'm not just one thing. Like, I think
I love the drama, but I'm also
she was also the only one to really answer the question, in my opinion. I think she got I think because Alyssa's question was was more, I don't know really what Alyssa was trying to do in that. Actually, Alyssa's question was really weird to me. I don't know what she was trying to do.
Trying to make it seem like Rachel's strategic when like Rachel's not the one I would try to get like a strategic thing.
I would have not thought that she was strategic. I would have been like, is she even really that strategic? She's just joined and like is kind of on the boss things.
She joined and immediately everyone thought she was the Spice Girls. Like, exactly. She hasn't had time to be strategic.
I was gonna say she really had to fight her way from.
I would have just, if I had gone Rachel, I would have just been zigzaga and just said that as like my question.
Yeah. I thought Carol's answer, as much as I don't love Carol, I thought Carol's answer was pretty good. She gets asked,
because Yu Ling was her, right?
Yeah, Yu Ling had hers, and I thought Yu Ling's question was good too. It's like
Yu Ling took the baby picture and was pretty much like, "Oh, you're so cute. Who wouldn't want to play you?" Something like that.
Is that why you chose to play Carol and not yourself?
Yeah, right.
And Carol, obviously, like being a catfish, but it's like, I just want to show that like people my age can still do it, and like if it was a real person, sure, whatever. But John, whatever. Brew gets asked which two besties would you take on the yacht because it's a yacht.
He literally is like, I
love you all.
He literally says, I'd bring all of you. I don't care if the boat sinks. I'm like,
anyway.
Tomato. Boring. Alex
then with Alyssa's. Alex really tried it and really failed because he's like, he posts a photo of her in like the Coliseum, I think it is, and complete lies and goes, well, we had a conversation where you said you had never traveled outside the US, so what's this photo? And she's like, that's a lie, but okay. Alyssa was not the right person to do this to.
I think Alyssa answered this wrong, though. Because she shouldn't have revealed she takes notes on everything.
I agree.
I think she got a little too frazzled, and I think it didn't work in either of their favors, actually. I think, like, Alyssa's answer, you never want to seem like you're coming off as defensive. I think, like, she came off a little too defensive.
Agreed.
And I think she should have been like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm Italian. I've gone to Italy many times.
Yeah. Whatever. And then the other big question that was kind of like make or break was Brew asking Nathan how many shots under par is an eagle, because your album just has a lot of golf photos. Mind you, I knew this answer.
I did not.
I did not either.
I am an avid mini golfer, and I love.
am so
golf.
Sorry, Alex, but I wanted you to get this wrong just for the fucking drama.
Truly. And this man is truly like, my game is about to be over because I don't know what an eagle is.
I think it would have been because
absolutely,
because they would have.
I would have been like, why is he taking so long to reply?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, he gets it right based on a pure guess, and I'm like, okay, work, diva.
I mean, his logic was smart. He's like, I think an eagle is better than a birdie, which would technically be worse, right? Because eagle is 3.
Eagle's 2 under par, and then a birdie is 1 under par.
Okay.
So you want to get an eagle over a birdie.
Okay.
But But yeah, so then there's like two conversations that happen, whatever. They get drowned out because antivirus. And then it's the
I did like
antivirus.
the pop-ups though. They were the
The
pop-ups.
pop-ups was
The pop-ups
hilarious.
were,
That was probably one of my favorite parts of the episode. Just
Because we all know if you dealt with pop-ups on your computer, it's the most annoying thing ever, especially when it's a bunch of them. So yeah, that was hilarious to me. I
it was like
enjoyed
it was like looking for catfish. Like
it.
are you sure you want to close this chat? No.
No, that's weird.
So
It was so funny.
let's briefly talk about this antivirus safety chain.
Mm-hmm.
So Emerson and Imani already have the antivirus software, whatever.
which great movie. Come on,
Yeah, so
baby.
I thought it was going to be two separate chains.
Mm.
I thought Everson was going to choose someone, and then Imani was going to choose someone, and that was not the case. Because Everson and Imani was one.
The way they phrased it really did seem like they were both going to choose someone separately.
Yeah.
And the way they phrased it, it really seemed like more than one person would be going home because it said any players who have out an antivirus will be blocked.
Yeah.
And it's like, then why just say the player without the antivirus will be locked?
Yeah.
But I guess it's more just, I think, to freak them out, like to freak out the players, be like how more than one of us could go.
Yeah. Definitely.
But I wish one of them did just for the drama.
Yeah. So Everson and Imani both together, they discuss Rachel, Frank, and Carol being options that they want to save. They ultimately save Frank, which I love.
I'm at it.
I wanted Frank or Rachel to be saved.
Agreed. So then
I was more wanting Rachel to be saved just because I felt like Frank could get saved
by a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Had a much easier time getting saved than Rachel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
But that was like my own thing. It's like I think like if they were both in the same position, I probably would have been like more leaning towards Frank. But I'm like, I think Rachel just has less of a chance of getting.
I think Rachel would have saved Frank.
Yeah.
Rachel would have saved Frank or Yuling.
And then Yuling, it would have been the same people basically.
Just the ordering would have been different.
Yeah.
Right.
So Frank then saves Yuling.
Mm-hmm.
And
which
Yuling,
is not a surprise to me.
No. But then Yuling is really like, what am I gonna do?
This fucked up Yuling's game a little bit for me. Like this safety chain, I think, can really fuck up someone who's playing a game like Yuling, who's playing in the middle, or who's more in the middle. Like, but I think she did make the right choice here.
For her game, yes, I think she really did.
I think it's like I think there was the factor of, I mean, although it's like, yeah, I mean, I think like she wanted to prove her trust to Frank that she still had his back.
I mean, especially after coming off of blocking Krista when they just had that conversation. If she would have turned around and did it again and not save Rachel, Frank would have definitely had questions like, how come you come into a chat, we make an alliance, and then the person we make an alliance with, we send them home?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
I think the only reasoning Yuling would have had to not would have been like, well, I already screwed over Frank once. I don't want to end up screwing over these people.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think she just trusted Brew less and Alyssa less.
Yeah.
At this point, to be honest.
Yeah. So Yuling saves
Which
Rachel.
I'm fine with because I like the inner trust circle alliance better than I like the thruple alliance.
I agree. So Yuling saves Rachel. Rachel
was surprised by. Rachel did not expect it because Rachel was like, if I don't get saved by Frank, I'm going home. Like Rachel was like ready to pack. Rachel's like ready to pack. Mm-hmm. And I think this is will hopefully shift how Rachel plays.
I agree.
Because I think this will really clue her in that she's not really at the bottom anymore.
Yeah.
So then Rachel decides to save Nathan, which was like great. because they just made that thing together.
She saves Nathan because they just had talked
They
about
just talked about working together, and the newbies need to work together. So that
and
was
luckily
that.
Great for her that she was actually picked third out of that alliance, because she's not torn between, do I save my alliance or do I save this person who I just formed a thing with.
Right. So after that, Nathan, of course, chooses Brew, and Brew is left with the hard decision.
The this whole time are freaking out after Yuling.
Yeah, they were freaking out because they couldn't believe Yuling didn't pick one of them. It's
like, what the fuck? This is shit. Like, what the fuck is happening? Like, she was not happy.
Like, because she was very much content with the throuple, and she just knew that throuple was going to work through. And like Alyssa, they both Brew and Alyssa felt like she should have chose one of them, but she chose Rachel out of the blue. Whatever. But then
is out of the blue because they had no idea how close they had become.
Right. It was out of the blue for them. It wasn't out of the blue for us watching, and it wasn't out of the blue for Yuling at the time.
Or Frank. Or
Frank. Right. It was what it was. But after that, then Brew was left with the decision to go with either Alyssa or Carol. And that is where they turned it off and left us with a cliffhanger and said, come back next week.
So what did you guys think was going to happen?
I knew what was going to happen. I didn't even, like, for me, I was very much like, he's taking Carol for me, for sure. I'm like, he's taking Carol for sure because, yes, the throuple was a thing, but I just felt his connection with Carol was even stronger than the connection with Alyssa.
And I honestly think it's smarter for him. I don't think he's clicking it together, but I think if he saves, I think it's smarter for him to keep Carol, because I think if he saves, I think if I was him, I would be like, well, this alliance is already on the rocks because Yuling didn't save either of us. Do I really want to try to keep all three of us in this game? And then my other thought would be, let me maybe keep Carol, because I know Carol's still at the bottom of everything. It keeps me around a little bit longer to keep fighting.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if he takes out Carol, he's the next target. Yeah. He's the next name. If he keeps Carol, Carol's still the next name.
Yeah. I didn't think it was going to go the way it went. I'm not going to reveal what happened because we'll talk about it in our week 3. I did not think it would go the way it did. Let's just say that.
I was surprised because based on how Brew has played,
I wasn't surprised with how it happened. What came from it, but
I was like, I don't know. I feel like Logan's one way, Lana's the other, and I feel like I was kind of in the middle. I was like, I really don't know what he's gonna do.
Yeah. But we'll talk about that next time, because
next time on the circle, someone is blocked.
Who is it? Carol? Is it Alyssa? One of them is not going to be here, but I'll tell you who's going to be here. I'll tell you who's going to be here. We're going to be here because we're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about this episode, the next episode, the next 4 episodes. So you know what to do, y'all. We had a good time, but you know how we want you to do. Hit that like, subscribe, all of that on your way out. We appreciate you stopping by. Follow us at the cup _reality for all of your reality needs. And if you just feel inclined with, I think you should, because we're amazing people, follow us on Twitter as well. You see the names trolling Twitter and underneath it. Follow us because we're amazing people and we have a good time. So with that being said, thank you for watching. You guys, I appreciate talking to you all anytime. Yes. But circle message, it's time to go to bed for me. So good night, Circle.
Circle message. Love you all. Good night. Don't forget to visit me if you're blocked.
Circle message. Bye, bitch.
The circle chat has closed.
Good night.
Bye.
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 Bye, y'all. Bye.
Bye.